Okay, so we had seen like how do we pass the parameters to our Apex class and Apex function, and how can we build a search. Today we will talk about data table, lightning data table. So right now, when we had done the designing so far, so for that we have been using simple HTML design, right? Even when this components we created, this is the table we created, but with the HTML. But in LWC, you have a predefined grid-like a structure lightning data table that could be used for the purpose. And there you can bind the data. Very useful, and we use it very quite often. And it supports many things, many events, using which you can do the operations. So let's see this lightning data table. And then if you go to the sales application, let me go to this. If I go to accounts, this is a standard feature of Salesforce. When you have any list view, you get the columns. Here you get this option. If you click on edit, you can see that a specific record. You can even delete it. Even if you wanted to view it, you click and you will be able to view. This is a standard features. When you create any tab in Salesforce, for any list view, you get this option. Actually, this is nothing but your lightning data table only. That has this by default checkboxes, and you can define menus as well. So this thing we wanted to do with the customization, the framework, how we can do. Create our own data table, have our own menus, and then have the options, whatever actions you wanted to perform. So let's see this. I'm going to create a data table, and this edit, view, and delete this menu we will be having, and we will mix with Lightning navigation services and see how we can create this. So in the controller, we already have this function. I just wanted to invoke this, but the data we will be binding in the data table. So let me create an LWC component. Let's say I'm calling it account demo. Let's import the function. Import get accounts from @Salesforce Apex. Account controller dot get accounts. Now we have to bind this with the data table. So in order to bind this data with the data table, first let's invoke it and then we will bind it. Use wire. And then bind the response over here. Let me have the property, let's say account list. So @wire function is get accounts. In order to handle the response, I'm having the function let's say wire get accounts. It expects two parameters, let's say data or error. If we have the data, then we are going to bind with the account list. So this dot account list is equals to data. And else if we receive the error, then this dot error is equals to error. That's the calling. But we need to bind this with our data table and then showcase it onto the UI front end. So let's come to the HTML. Let's have a card. Okay. So if we have the data in this, then only we go inside. So template By the way, if true we are using now, this is in the winter 23 release. Salesforce has introduced this one. LWC if else in your HTML. Now you can use these tags also. LWC if, LWC else, LWC else if. I'm gonna use this one. This is in the latest release. So LWC if we have the data into this account list, then we will proceed further. Now let's use the data table. Lightning data table. So what is this? So if you see here, it's a table that shows the data in the row and the column format, and these are the attributes that it expects, like the class for the CSS. Columns. What are the columns you wanted to display? It's a list, and the values should be in the form of label, field name, and the type. Label is the label of the field. Field name is the exact API name, and the type is the data type. By default, if you don't specify, it treats it like a text data that you wanted to bind it. So those things we need to specify. So let's specify this property. So first the key field, based on that only it identify different rows. So key field, we have the ID, we specify this. Then the data, where is the data? So for the data, our data is this account list. We are binding it with the data table. And now the columns, what are the columns we wanted to display? So we need to define the columns, okay? And the column should have those values. So I'm going to take a property columns and define it, okay? I'm going to define it globally so that anywhere we can use it. So constant, let's define here columns. And it has to be array, right? We were seeing like it expects label, field name, and sorry, label, then your field name, and then the type if you specify. Okay. So let's specify here. Columns equals to label. What are the things we are returning? So let's say name, account number, industry phone, industry type phone. So let's say name. Label you can give anything, but the field name, make sure you specify the exact API name. So field name equals to the name. Then I want to display the account number. So let's display the account number. So label, account number, field name, account number. Okay. Let's say site industry, label, site, and the field name is, let's say site, and then the industry. Okay, we have the columns. Let's define it. So let's say I'm in a property, I'm storing it. Calls is equals to columns, and then bind it over here. That's it. Let's see how it looks. So we simply fetch the response. We binded it. We define the columns that we wanted to have it. Okay. So far, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So let's expose the competency. Lightning app page. Let's deploy this. Let's go to the application. Let's make it to one column format and display it over here only. Edit the page. Our component name is account demo. I'm going to change it into one column, or we can create a new page as well. Okay. Why the industry is not coming? 1 minute. Let me refresh. So name, account number, site. Industry is not coming. Let's see why. Label industry, might be industry would be blank. Let me see for the type. Are we returning industry here? Yeah, we are returning.
It might be blank.
Yeah, that could be a reason. Because top 15 only we are fetching. Yeah. So here we are seeing these values, right? This is nothing but our data table only. You don't need to do anything. This lining and the borders are already. And the data table has this default property, like you get the check boxes so that you can do the multi-select. We will talk about this refresh apex just after few classes. So there I will again come up with this. It supports one event called on-row selection, which returns you the array. Means what are the rows that you are selecting. So that's what here we are specifying over. Okay, so this is how we can specify it. Now by default, you are getting the checkboxes. If suppose you don't want to see the checkboxes, rather you wanted to show the row number over here. That is something you can do. Under this HTML, if we specify hide checkbox column is equals to true, you can specify. So row number column, I am specifying is true. So what will happen? Every record will have a row number and the columns will be, let me deploy. Let's refresh. So you are seeing the row numbers, right? And the check boxes are removed. So you can do this. Okay. Now for this data table, I wanted to see those menus. You are seeing those icons on the right hand side, right? Where you are seeing those options, edit, delete, or change the owner. I wanted to see edit, view, and delete. When the user clicks on that, he should be able to navigate to that record. When you click on edit, you should be able to do the navigation. We can do those things with the navigation services, lightning record page, standard record page navigation. We'd already done this. So we are going to see how we can do that, okay? With a lightning record page navigations. So let's see this. Okay. So far clear now?
Yes.
Okay. So in order to define the menus, we have attribute type is equals to action. If you specify type equals to action, it will give you the menu. We have the columns. You can specify another and this type equals to action. These are the reserved keywords. So you need to write exact same. On the documentation of data table, you will find all these explanation of reserved keywords. So if you specify type equals to action, you will start getting the menu icons. Options we need to yet we still need to specify. If just now you deploy, so for every record you will see. If I refresh here, you will see you see the menu icons. These are the menus. We refer to them as action. And for these menus, I wanted to have the options. Right now, we don't have any options. What are the options we needed? I want the edit, view,
Okay.
and the delete. Okay. So label and name you can specify. So again, another array I'm specifying constant actions, which will bind with these columns. So let me define another actions array. What are the actions you want? So label is whatever you want. Name is the unique name you want to give for every action because that's what we will be using in our coding. Based on those name only, we will be doing the action. So label equals to, I am saying, let's say, view. Name is equals to, I am saying, view. Then edit and delete. You can give whatever name you wanted to give. I'm giving this name. And let's have the delete. Okay, so we have these actions. I want to bind these actions with my columns. Okay, so how do we do that? So in data table, you can specify the type attributes and the event we will be using is row actions. So you can, I mean, on row actions. So type attributes and the row actions, you can bind your array and it will start showing those options. So in the columns only, columns is already binded. I am specifying here. Type attributes, all these are reserved keywords. You need to use them only. So type attributes equals to, for the row actions, I want my actions array. So for every record, you will start getting these options. Edit, view, and delete. Let me bind it. If I refresh it, in our menus now you are getting these options. Edit, view, delete. These are the menu options that we have binded. And now what we wanted to do the actions. I mean, when the user clicks on this view, he should be able to view this record. We can do this with the standard record page navigation, right? Because this specific record detail is the record page only. And there you can find out, I mean, pass out the record ID and do these operations. Okay. So let's do that. So for that, we can make use of the navigation services we had already learned about. So what were the steps? First thing, we need to import the navigation mixing model. Then we apply it to the base class and then we define the syntax, right? So let's do that. Let's import the navigation mixing. So import the navigation mixing class, mixin from lightning slash navigation. Let's apply this navigation mixing to the base class. So let's apply this to the base class. Now what you wanted to do? So for every row, I have these actions for which I want to do the operation. So on the data table, if you will go, there is an event supported on row action. On row actions. The action triggered when a row action is clicked. By default, it also closes the actions menu, returns the event details object. So when you click on row action, this will be fired. So let's specify here. So on the on row action, what you want to do, I'm going to call a JavaScript function. Let's say I'm calling it handle row action. And now let's define the logic for this handle row action. So coming back to the JavaScript, handle row action, passing the event over here. Now, see, you already have the action name, and you can also get the event.detail.row.id. So we can use if else or switch case, whatever we want. I'm going to use the switch case. So first I'm taking the action name. So let's say constant variable, I'm taking constant action name equals to. So data table supports if you need to read the action name. So event.detail, what is the action menu name? So dot action, and we have given the unique name right at the top in the actions. It will give me which actions I am clicking. If you click on view, even the detail.action name will give you view. Same for the edit or delete. Now I need the row instance because if you remember the standard record page navigation when we have seen there, one of the attribute is the record ID. Which record you wanted to navigate to. Last time we did it static. We will do it dynamically. So let's have the row instance as well. So constant row equals to event dot detail dot row. So we have the row as well. Now we define the navigation services logic, right? So let's say specify here. I'm doing not do the switch case. So switch action name. So whatever action user is selecting. So if let's say you are selecting view, so I'm saying your case view. So we define the logic for the view. So what was the logic? Navigation services, right? So this navigation mixing dot navigate. Now first thing that we were specifying the type of the page. So what would be the type of the page in this scenario? We wanted to navigate to the record pages, right? So type would be standard record page. So type equals to standard underscore record page. Second thing, the attributes we need to specify. So let's specify here the attributes. In the attributes, we need to specify the record ID. Record ID equals to row.id, whichever row you have clicked on. Then what else? Action name. What is the action you want to perform? So action name is equals to I'm specifying here view. An object API name. For which object we wanted to do it? So let's just specify here object API name equals to I want to do it for the account. So specifying here account. Right, that's how you can do it. Is this code clear so far?
Yes.
Alright, so this is for the view. Now we need to define the edit and the delete. So let's define the edit one. So case edit this navigation mixing dot navigate. Type of the page is standard record page. Then let's specify here attributes. Record ID row.id. What is the action? I wanted to do the editing. So edit. And the object API name, we have the account. Okay, we will come to the delete first. Let's see.
Standard.
Where is it?
Line number 49.
49. Oh yeah, spelling is wrong. STA and DR. Standard record page, standard STA and DR. Default, nothing. Just now, let's see how it looks. Okay. Already exposed. Let's deploy this. Okay, so let's click on it. Suppose editing. So whichever record you are clicking, you are able to do the editing. You can change the value, it will edit it as well. Okay, you need to refresh, hard refresh to see the update. Okay. You wanna view any specific record with the you click on that specific record, it will show you in that. I mean, it will be able to navigate it. So this way you can do the edit, view. Now we need to come to the deletion. Is it clear so far?
Yes.
All right. So for the deletion, see there are two approaches. One way is that you use on row selection. We haven't seen. I will show that event with the refresh apex example. And you can select multiple row, define the logic in the apex and do. Right now we have row numbers, okay, and for every specific row we wanted to do. So whichever record ID you click, that should get deleted. So what I wanted that whichever record user clicks, that specific record I want to delete. And when the deletion is successful, we wanted to show the success toast message. And if the deletion is not successful, then I want to show the failure toast message. Okay. So let's do that for this. So let's say specify here. So for the deletion, there is a predefined function, JS function, I mean in the framework, delete record, which is available in Lightning UI record API module and returns you a promise. What is promise in the Apex imperative call? We will talk in details. So basically, let me first write it. So let's import the function. This is the what we will be using. So import delete record. This is available in Lightning UI record API module. Next, I want to show the toast messages when the deletion is successful or not successful. So for that, let's import the toast event. So import show toast event from Lightning platform. So toast event. Okay. Now let's specify the deletion. I have already copied the code from the documentation side. Let me put it, then I will explain. So if you see here, basically, we are doing the deletion. This is the syntax of Apex imperative call. You will see same way this also works. So delete record, you pass the record ID of the record you deleted. Okay. So it returns you a promise. Promise is nothing but it's the state that needs to be resolved. Like when you are calling, so if your operation is successful or if it's a failure. So what you want to do? So if the operation is successful, then what action you want to do? And when it's a failure, then what you wanted to do? You need to specify both. Okay. So when the deletion is successful, dot then is the then function we invoke, and there we are showing the toast message. This is the syntax of the toast message. Success toast event I wanted. And if it's a not success, if it returns a failure, then the catch block for the failure. In the failure also, we are showing the toast event. So now when we will delete it, if the record is getting deleted, you should see the toast message, okay? And the record should get deleted. Deploy this. Let's refresh and see. I have a trigger that might create problem. Let me see. Suppose Deloitte I wanted to delete. Error occurred update. It's happening because of my trigger. Any account has a child contact associated, it does not allow. Let me see anything. Record deleted, Deloitte Consulting. But you see, when you delete it, yes, definitely record is getting deleted, but you need to do the hard refresh. By default,
Is your
you have to
laptop?
refresh it, okay? You see, Deloitte Consulting got removed. So this is a
Yes.
problem, but you can do for that, na? There is a concept of refresh apex. You need to invoke refresh apex, and that automatically invokes the apex function again. Okay, I will show you the refresh apex example for the deletion. So you can do the edit, view, and deletion with this approach. Clear?
Yes.
Just practice. It's a common scenario. I had this requirement for one of my project scenarios, so I had implemented this way. Now I'm going to explain you the case study. I want you to start working on that. I will share the solution as well, but first you start so that anything you need help, you can ask.
Okay.
Okay. Next, we will start with the Apex imperative call. So as part of this case study, I want you to work on this online shopping portal. Okay. So in
Mm-hmm.
any online shopping, what are the things that we happen? We have the products, you have customers, and you have the transactions, right? So
Yes.
create three custom objects: product, customer, and the transaction. First, you create the products. The fields you need to, I will share this doc with you. The field you specify is product ID P101102. That's how, keep it unique. Product name, product category like agriculture, apparels, electronics, what is the, and there should be one lookup field that will be pointing to the customer, because one customer can buy multiple products. Okay. Now
Okay.
for the products, what are the features we wanted? First thing, on an app page, show all the product details. Use the lightning data table, okay, with the edit, view, and the delete, the one which we did just now. Second thing, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have the search feature on the product. You can use a combo box or a text box also. So products have these categories like electronics, apparels, agriculture. So whatever category of the products user is typing in the search box, all the products belonging to that category should be returned in this data table. Okay. So the data
Okay.
table you should have edit, view, delete as well, and also you have a text box. When the user search, you should invoke the, I mean, fetch the response from Apex corresponding to that values only. Okay. And
Okay.
initially it should show the all the products. Okay.
Yes.
We can do it, right? We have done with
Yes.
the
Yes.
at the rate area. Yeah. Try this.
Yeah.
So this is the first feature we wanted. And also we wanted to have the options to add a new product. Two edge. Either you create a tab for the product, there also by default you get the new button. Or you can use the navigation services. In the navigation services we had seen, right, how to click on new, so
Yes.
it opens up that particular. So you can add a button. Just have separate tabs. One tab for the products. You can have a button. Their users should
Mm-hmm.
have. So have a text boxes, have a button for the adding the new button. When the user clicks on add button, the pop-up should open and you can enter a new product. So you enter the product that can appear in your data table. Okay. So this is for the
Okay.
products. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you add here the this also? Uh, Below there should be a search. Can you add here that add
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
new product?
Yeah. Okay. Add products. You can use tabs as well. So options to add a new product.
Or
Use tabs or navigation mixing. Now for the customers. So for the create another object for the customer where customer ID, customer name, customer category, prime, non-prime, and the customer email. Customer is the parent to your product. They are in the lookup relationship. For the customer,
right.
we should be able to save a new customer. And here in the search, what I wanted is that based on the customer name, you should be able to search out all the products. One customer can buy multiple products, right? So whatever
Yes.
customer name you are entering, so that particular customer has purchased which product, that you should be able to search. Okay,
On
based
the
on the
chain. Yeah.
customer. You need to write that you have the relationship, right? So relationship query
Yes.
you
Yes.
can do.
Yes.
Yeah. So this will be for the customer. Last we have the transaction. In the transaction, have these things: transaction ID, transaction category like electronics or cash. You can keep them as a pick list option. Another thing is the quantity, and there should be two lookup field. One lookup for the, because one customer can have multiple transaction, one product is also associated with multiple transaction. So customer name, which will be pointing to the customer object, and the product name, which will be pointing to the product table. Okay.
Okay.
In this transaction, you should be able to search based on both. Only one text box you keep for your search. Okay. So if someone is
Okay.
entering the product name, so the product's details should appear. I mean, based on that product name, the transaction should appear. And if someone is entering the customer name, so based on the customer name, the search should appear. All you need to do, whatever the search text is
Dynamic
there,
query.
pass it in your where, what we say, Apex call, and in the where clause, you can
Yes.
write
Yes.
where product name like
Yes.
this,
Yes.
or yeah, customer name like this. So build these things. And by the way, for all of them, you should have the add options. Okay. User should be able
Okay.
to add a new product and able to add a
Customer.
new customer and able to add a new transactions. Okay.
Okay.
You can use tabs also, new transaction. So start working on that and we will continue on this. So anything you get stuck, I will help. I have the solution, but I will share at the not now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can, you will do this, it will be a good practice.
Sure.
Okay, then. So let's wrap up and let's continue tomorrow. We will start with Apex imperative call. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.